timekeeper? How about my opposing team here? Alright, then I'm going to go ahead and start. Dear observer and audience, in this world lives two friends. These two friends differ greatly in age, one of which is a middle-aged, while another is a fresh, energetic young adult. The older friend represents the United States of America, while the young one represents Israel. Keep this image in mind. The image that the young adult country has reached the age of responsibility, and the older companion needs to realize this young country is ready to assume the life of maturity. Remember this idea. Please join me in affirming that the United States federal government should substantially reform its foreign military presence and/or foreign military commitments. We will now provide definitions for the key terms and phrases in Section 1, Definitions. Sources will be given upon request. United States federal government. The three branches of U.S. government, legislative, judicial, and executive, carry out governmental power and functions. Substantial. Considerable in quantity or significantly great. Reform. To put or change into an improved form or condition. Foreign. Related to or dealing with other nations. Military. Of or relating to soldiers, arms, or war. Presence. The fact or condition of being present. Commitment. An act of committing to a charge or trust. And foreign military financing refers to the congressionally appropriated grants given to foreign governments to finance the purchase of American-made weapons, services, and training. Foreign military financing, abbreviated FMF, is a program of the United States Department of Defense for benefiting other countries. FMF is basically a loan given to other countries by the Department of Defense. Under normal circumstances, the money given to a country must be spent by that country on American-made military, weapons, training, or services. It would be like a kid owning a lemonade stand, this kid's parents, and a jogger. The parents of the youngster give money to the jogger to buy from their kid's lemonade stand. Every day, the jogger receives 50 cents from the parents, and every day the jogger spends those 50 cents on the kid's lemonade. The parents represents the U.S. government. The kid represents the U.S. defense industry, and the jogger represents countries who need FMF funding, or in the analogy, the 50 cents. In the case of Israel, who is represented by the jogger, Israel receives 50 cents from the U.S. government, but only has to spend 37 cents on U.S.-made lemonade. Israel can spend 13 cents on their own lemonade, so the U.S. loses the 13 cents every day, or in real life, $855 million every year. Section 2, Background. Point 1. The U.S. has been Israel's friend since 1948. From the Office of the Press Secretary, July 27, 2012. Commitment to Israel's security and well-being has been a cornerstone of the U.S. policy in the Middle East since Israel's founding in 1948, in which the United States played a key supporting role. Israel and the United States are bound closely by historic and cultural ties as well as by mutual interest, end quote. This evidence shows us that the U.S. and Israel have strong ties and good relations. We, as the Affirmative team, believe in and support this union. Point 2, Israel's economy. From Heritage.org, 2012. They have a gross domestic product of $219.4 billion with a 4.6% annual growth, with a $29,531 per capita. Israel is among the world's top leading arms exporters. Between 2003 and 2010, Israel was the 8th largest arms exporter in the world with sales worth a total of $12 billion, end quote. Section 3, the status quo. Point A, Israel receives tens of billions of dollars in FMF aid. Part 1. From Alon Ben David, August 22, 2007. The U.S. and Israel have signed a memorandum of understanding to provide Israel with $30 billion foreign military financing package from 2009 to 2018, constituting a 25% boost in U.S. military aid, end quote. Part B. This is from Mitchell Broad, January 2012. Israel receives $3.1 billion every year for the next 5 years. From 2013 to 2018, they gain $3.1 billion per fiscal year. Part C, Israel given an outdated exemption. From Stephen Walt and John Marishmer, 2012. Currently, approximately 26.3% of Israel's FMF funds may be used on domestic defense purchases. Since the earmark is linked to a percentage and not a specific dollar amount, as U.S. military aid to Israel has increased, the amount set aside for defense purchases in Israel has also increased. For years, Congress has mandated that Israel receive its FMF aid in a lump sum during the first month of the fiscal year, end quote. This evidence shows that more than 25% of what we give to Israel in FMF aid, we lose. And the more money that U.S. gives to Israel in FMF funding under the status quo, the more money is lost. Part D. Israel receives its FMF aid in a lump sum, unlike all other countries. From Jeremy Sharp, March 12, 2012. For years, Congress has mandated that Israel receive its FMF aid in a lump sum during the first month of the fiscal year. No other recipient of U.S. military assistance has been granted this benefit. Section 4. Harmful results of the current conditions. Harm 1. Israel's maturity and independence is degraded by the USA. From Daniel Feith, 2003. Addressing the future of Israel-U.S. economic relationship, Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, said that, "I believe that we can now say that Israel has reached childhood's end, and that it is matured enough to begin approaching a state of self-reliance." End quote. Harm 2. United States loses at least $808 million every year between now and 2018. From Stephen Walt and John Marishmer. Currently, approximately 26.3% of Israel's FMF funds may be used for domestic defense purchases. We, the affirmative team, do not merely have the responsibility of stating the problems of the status quo, we must also provide a suitable solution, thus leading us to Section 5, the plan. Mandates. 1. Remove the exemption of 26.3% domestic defense procurement funds spent by Israel. In essence, Israel returns our FMF aid in the form of purchasing American-made military items. Mandate 2. Pay Israel its FMF in the same increments as all other recipients of U.S. FMFs. In other words, a monthly payment will be sent to Israel, the same as all the other countries who receive FMF funding. Agency. The United States federal government, the Department of Defense, the U.S. military, and any other constituents of the United States federal government and its constitutional operations. Timeline. To be enacted the fiscal year 2014, which would be October 1st, 2013 calendar date. The affirmative team reserves the right for clarification in following speeches. Section 6. This is truly a win-win plan. 1. We save $4.23 billion in fiscal years 2014 to 2018. 2. We will establish goodwill with other nations by removing the appearance that we play favorites with Israel. And 3. Israel will still have access to the same amount of aid, but not all at the expense of the U.S. economy. As this plan is self-solving, all other advantages are a direct result of legislative reform. Therefore, to reduce rambling and repeating, the affirmative team will provide these legislative advantages if requested in following speeches. Thank you.
All right, are the judges ready? And the timekeeper? And my opposing team?
Sure.
All right, then let's get started. First off, can we have a copy of your 1AC?
You sure can.
Thank you very much. Just a few questions. What is the overall goal of your case?
The overall goal of our case is to, 1, promote kind of a sense of maturity for Israel itself, as well as save some money for the U.S.
And how exactly are you going to try to accomplish this?
Which one? Both of them?
Just like a summary of how you're trying to accomplish.
Well, removing the exemption that we have. Right now, that exemption, because back in 1948 when Israel first started, and we first started giving Israel FMF aid, we had that exemption to where they could have a little bit of leeway, if you will, with where they spend their money.
All right,
now that they no longer need it.
What percentage of the total aid is that exemption?
26.3%.
All right. Okay. Do we all agree that that the United States likes Israel?
Yes.
Do we want to do we want to do what's best for United States interests?
Absolutely. As I said in my...
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No,
I
you're
only
fine.
have a limited amount of time.
You're fine.
Is a stronger Israel good for United States interests?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is a stronger Israeli economy good for United States interests?
Sure. I mean, we're allies.
Okay. If the jogger is able to buy the lemonade by himself, should he still be taking the parents' money?
If the jogger is able to buy it himself?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.